They doubted me. They all doubted me. They didn't think it was going to happen, but guess what? This check for over $4,000 right here, we did it. We got it from our landlord because he tried to screw me, so I took him to court and I won. I wouldn't call myself Harvey Specter or Mike Ross, but...
I work at Pearson Specter.
That's Specter, as in Harvey Reginald Specter.
A year and 6 months, just about. That's how long it took to take my landlord to court for money that was rightfully owed to me and my roommates and actually get it back from him. So here we are, because as I was doing it, despite the internet and all its glory, there really wasn't a lot of clear step-by-step of like what someone's process was. Like I'd read like some little tidbit here, something here, and they say like, oh, this person was useful, this wasn't, this is how I did it. But I couldn't find anything of all my research. So I'm going to talk about my experience because I'll try to make it funny, but like I can't tell you how good it felt to like get the call that he had paid me this money and how angry he was. Oh my God. I felt like going to law school. I want everyone to like get this experience and also take down their landlord, because landlords bank on you not knowing stuff or trying to exhaust you, especially if it's a management company, of you spending the time and money because you don't have the time and money compared to them to actually take them to court or do whatever, and they'll take advantage of you. So I will put this out there so you don't get taken advantage of, and we have to take them all down at this point. So this is in New York City, but it's probably relevant anywhere in the US to some degree, so feel free to like and share it to other people, and it actually will provide value, not just a like and share. Me and two roommates, we moved into an apartment on the 3rd floor of a house in New York City. The landlord lived beneath us, and then there's another tenant beneath them, and they were weirdos. I never even saw them, maybe twice in a year. So this was in 2023, so no issues the entire time we lived there. Maybe twice this man had to text us like, hey, quiet down, it's just getting a little late. And for 3 27-year-old guys, that was probably the best thing he could ever expected. Meanwhile, his little 8-year-old son would be screaming and cursing at Fortnite at 8 in the morning on a Saturday, but never bothered him about that. And I think the one time we asked him to come upstairs, it took him 3 weeks to come patch like a little hole in our bathroom. And that's going to become relevant later because I knew the type of speed this man worked on and how much he actually cared about doing anything for us. One roommate moves out a month early, okay? So just me and another one, he moves out about 2 weeks left. I'm the last person there. The landlord was already a pain in the ass a couple weeks out. He's like, oh, can someone come visit the apartment? We'll be like, you gave us 0 notice. He'd be like, oh, I'll bring him up myself. And we'll be like, okay, great. Then he was like, can I bring painters in? Can you move all the furniture towards the center in like the last like week and a half? And I'm like, okay, I guess, being super nice and accommodating. Move out. He sends us a text. He goes, hey guys, just to let you know, pleasure having all of you. There was a slight little damage in the room for Mike's floor, mine. I'm just going to need a flooring contractor to come out just to get a price estimate, and then I'll give you the rest of the security deposit back. And I already knew that because, like, here's the picture of the actual damage. Super small. A lot of landlords might let it pass, but I was like, he might do it. Like, whatever. It's not the biggest deal. I wasn't shocked that he messaged me about it. So I go, sure, Mike, no problem. His name is Mike too. Scumbag. Scumbag Mike. Scumbag landlord Mike. We'll call him that. So a week passes, we text scumbag landlord Mike, and I say, hey, Mike, did you get a chance to get the flooring contractor out there yet? Doesn't answer for 3 days. Okay, send another message. Mike, just following up here, did you get it? And we were really like on his ass because 1, I could see how this is gonna drag out. 2, when you're moving out of New York City, it's the worst renters market, so you have to pay first month security deposit and the most BS broker fee. I'm not gonna go into that, how much but it just got outlawed, so that's absolutely great. I'm so happy about that because they did absolutely nothing. So another week passes. We send him another follow-up text. He finally answers. He goes, oh no, I'm sorry. He should be able to get out here this week. Okay, no problem. Full week passes. Text him again. Hey, scumbag landlord Mike. Did the flooring contractor get out there? Doesn't answer for 2 full days. And this is the group chat, my other roommate messaged, hey Mike, just following up here. No, sorry, couldn't get out here. Should be next week. Okay, fast forward a couple days. Ask him again, and I say, hey Mike, did he come out here? Oh no, hasn't made it out here yet. And now I'm getting pissed. And so this is a very important thing. In New York City, the law is 14 days. They have 14 days to give their tenants an itemized list or the return of their security deposit. So if they are charging you for something, you need to see an official itemized list and how much they're charging you. Otherwise, they owe you the full amount of the deposit, even if there is a ton of damage. So he didn't seem to be aware of that. I was. I let 17 days pass, and then I messaged my roommates and go, should I press him? Because he seems to be dragging his feet. And they're like, let's see what he says. Finally, message him one more time. I say, okay, do you at least have an appointment set up? This is an estimate, not to fix it. This is New York City. Takes 2 days to get an estimate, tops. And he goes, no. N-O, no. And that pissed me off because he didn't even try to BS me. He didn't even try I am so sorry. I tried to cancel last second. I'm going to work on it. And he just could not care less. So I was like, all right. I sent him a very aggressive message. And I say, actually, it wasn't that aggressive. I'm going to summarize it. Basically, I say, hey, Mike, that's really disappointing to hear, especially because we've been very accommodating over the last couple of weeks with allowing people to come in and visit, and also painters come in, just so that you're aware. It is New York City law, and I state the law, and I let him know basically what I said. But in the spirit of compromise, still willing to work things out with you because I do acknowledge there is damage. So if you can get this done by end of day Wednesday, great, for an estimate. And maybe 4 minutes to reply. All of a sudden, very responsive on the phone. And he says, Michael, as I said, I am trying to get someone out here. They don't come at a drop of a dime. And you failed to let me know there was damage. And I did provide you with an itemized list. Look above when I sent you the picture of the scratch. And he said, I have no intention of keeping your deposit. And I was like, okay, Mike, well, to reiterate, I have no obligation to report damage to you. Second of all, I just restated exactly what I said. You have 14 days. That is not an itemized list. A picture and you telling me there's damage is not an itemized deduction. So please get it by end of day Wednesday. I just repeated myself. Again, he goes, oh, and this is when he just starts threatening us. I could charge you for, you guys damaged the stairwell when you're moving out, and there's other things I could charge you for. And I was like, of course, now he's getting angry. So I just repeated myself, said, great. And he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. I said to my roommates, he's going to find some BS contractor he knows, and he's going to have them come in and give some way inflated estimate that's going to be more than our deposit. And to a T, that's exactly what he did. God, I'm so good. And so next thing you know, he sends us a bill. That's the next thing he sends is just, and he goes, how do you want to proceed? Because that's what I said to him. And I was like, oh, you're a snarky little, and our security deposit was for $3,800. The bill, $9,000. Yeah, it was to resurface the entire apartment floor now, not my tiny little scratch. And it was from the most random contracting company, like no Google star reviews. The address on Google is just a garage. They have no official website. So I was like, okay, he did and here we go. Let's do it. And little did he know, I've been watching a lot of Suits, and he doesn't know how petty I am because we really didn't talk that much the entire time I lived there. And this very much felt like an age thing. He would not have been trying this if I was 45 or 50. He thought like, oh, these 3 young guys are gonna try to bully me into giving the money back. Yeah, okay, we'll see. So I look up a bunch of resources. I try to contact the Housing Protective Development Agency of New York City, and they said they would send someone to try to be the intermediate between us and try to resolve the issue. They didn't show up for 3 months later, and I get a call at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. I call it back and I say, hello? And they're like, oh, did you have a claim with us? And I go, yeah. And they went, oh, well, they tried to go to his apartment and they knocked on the door, no one answered, so they closed the case. And I went, that's it? 3 months and they call once on 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, not even letting me know when they were gonna do it? I don't know, I just did it really to show the judge just in case like I had a show I was trying to resolve the issue, but in reality, like I was like, what a joke of that agency is. I'm looking up online, I'm seeing a mixed things of some people saying, oh, you might have to pay a little bit. Some say you won't have to pay at all, you might need a lawyer. I'm getting all of these things. I contacted random legal services of New York for free. I talked to this lawyer. He was not helpful at all. He said, oh yeah, you probably have to go to small claims court and you'll pay some amount. And I go, why? The law clearly states, and I have it in text messages, why am I paying anything? And he said, yeah, but that judge is probably not gonna see it your way. And I went, yeah, we'll see. Me and my roommates, we go to small claims court. Costs $20, pull up to Queens County Court, and we file it. 1 year. 1 year from that date. So it was November of 2023 to November of 2024. That's how backed up it was. And I went, oh, great. He occupied so much space in my mind for those first couple months. I eventually kind of forgot about it, but it still stressed me out just knowing that money is just like floating there. In my mind, it's gone, but I was like, I have to ruin this man's life. Fast forward X amount of months. Now the court date is coming. Gotta print out all my evidence, all the text messages, the photos of the damage. I even thought about going to a random flooring contractor to just get like an actual realistic estimate to like compare it to his nonsense, but I didn't end up doing that. So print out everything, I write my opening statement, walk it through a bunch of people, and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to take this man down in court. I was so nervous, but I was ready. So we show up to court and my nerves immediately dropped because I looked around and I'm dressed up, got my shirt and tie on, and I'm looking around. Half the people are in sweats. I felt way more confident and like in my ability looking around. I keep forgetting it is small claims court, but just showing up to a courthouse for the first time is nerve-wracking in itself. We go there, don't see him anywhere, and we're like, oh man, what if you hire a lawyer? This is gonna be tough. Nothing. They call his name, doesn't show up.
That he's a pussy.
Hour and a half later, they do the second call, which is crazy that they even do that. Doesn't show up. And I went, wow. So they move us into inquest. And inquest is when the defendant doesn't show up, but the claimant is there. So they move us to another room, but it's just me and like two other people and my roommates with us. This woman goes in front of us. She said some rent-away center thing for furniture, screwed her because she's homeless, but she rented a fridge from them, which made absolutely no sense to me. She won. Seemed like a pretty easy case to win. And so he calls us up, and I knew now, since he wasn't there, like the judge wasn't going to care about my whole little spiel that I had ready, so I'm trying to summarize it the best I can. We go up there. He called my name wrong twice. He seemed pretty flustered and confused compared to the first judge, this other woman. And I explained the situation to him as quickly as I could, and he just looks at my roommates and goes, is this true? Is this true? And they go, yep. And he goes, okay. And I give him my evidence or whatever. He looks through the text messages. I show him a copy of the lease. I show him all the blah, blah, blah. And I show him a copy of the law. I mean, he knows it, but he goes, I don't know why these, he doesn't even read them. He just goes, meh, 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 meh. He's like, I don't know why these landlords do this. All right, good luck. Bam, we win. And I go, we won? I was like, what do you mean good luck? So I knew this about the American legal system and small claims court, but winning in court isn't the real win. It's actually getting the money, which is the dumbest thing ever. But I got a real refresher in that fact when we went down to the clerk's office and they went, well, here's how you go through collections. Here's a paper packet, and it's, you can either call the sheriff's office and they'll go to his house and basically ask him for the seizure of the assets, or and they do that for free, but they don't really care either way if you get the money because they're salary and they get paid. And I go, okay. And then she said, or you can go through the city marshal's office and hire a city marshal and pay them, and you pay them every time they go out and try to basically get the money from them and let the landlord know that eventually we can try to put a lien on his property and blah, blah, blah. A very important thing, this is his LLC. So it's not him personally. It's not like so he's kind of legally protected in that aspect. So I was like, I don't want to do either of those things. I don't want to pay money to get my money. I've already wasted a year of my life. So me and one roommate, we start reaching out to all these other people. They're like, oh, I know someone in the sheriff's office, blah, blah, blah. And no one really ended up helping us. On New Year's of 2024, I'm talking to my girlfriend's friend who's a lawyer and does this type of law. And she kind of knew a little bit about this situation, but I didn't want to actually bother her about, using her as like a service until like it was necessary. And I told her about her situation. She goes, oh, I can file something for you. It literally is so cheap. And then, it's really quick. I just need to know where he banks. And if he has money in that account, they can put a lien on that and freeze those accounts. And I go, okay, great. I just had to find out where he banked. I used to submit the rent checks, so I called Chase, and they're like, we can't tell you that. And it's a guy from a complete other country. And I went, I don't believe you. So I went to a local Chase branch, didn't tell them why I was there. And I was like, can you tell me where it's deposited? And they go, deposited right here at Chase. And I go, perfect. And I go, by the way, I'm suing my landlord, or I'm trying to steal his money back from us. And she goes, oh, okay, great. So she was cool. So now I give it to the girl, Maura, the attorney, and I say, here's where he banks. And she said, great, I'm going to file this thing and just send me the court ruling, and great. She files it, a month passes, and she says, we got a hit. And I go, whoa, no way. And she said, yep, it's across 2 accounts and it's about $3,000. And I went, oh, okay. And she said, yeah, like, look, they weren't smart enough to take out the money, but, you know, it's something at least for now. And I go, you know what, great. I was like, taking anything from this man at this point, it's fantastic. And she said, but let's be extra careful. Let's wait a week because he might be dumb enough to deposit the rent checks for February, and we might even get to hold more money because they'll hold up to 2 times the judgment amount depending on the state and the county and stuff. And I'm like, great, let's do it. 30 minutes later, this man calls her and screaming and is like, what the hell? And she was, are you Michael's attorney? What do you mean the account is frozen? He was dumb enough to deposit the checks. So now the full amount plus whatever is in there. So this is our amount plus interest. And so he's pissed, and she's texting me, goes, oh my God, he's so mad at you. He's saying you should be ashamed of myself. Like, what? It's our money, you piece of crap. And this is his brother, who's the property manager. And she said, okay, he wants to pay it. He wants to get it unfrozen immediately. And I was like, amazing. And I'm in my office at work, and I'm jumping up and down. I'm like, this is incredible. I can't wait. I hope he texts me or something. I want to go off on this man. So she sends him the paperwork to file it. And this guy is so dumb. He goes, oh, wait, that's not my legal name. You need to resend it. Idiot. So then next thing you know, he does send it. We get the full money plus interest. We win. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the whole thing was over. It was like anticlimactic. I thought me and him were going to get on the phone and I was going to be like, and that's what you get. And that's what you get, scumbag landlord Mike. Nothing. I didn't hear a single thing from him. But man, what a journey. What a journey it was to get this money back. And as dumb and as ridiculous as like the local legal system is to get your money back from a landlord, do it. It's so worth it.